Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. I'm sharing another double sketch layout for 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. Today's sketch is by Scrapping on the Fly, which is Kristen Foster, and she does have a YouTube channel. I will have that linked below. I'm going to kind of astray from the sketch. As you saw, it's a rainbow pattern, but I'm definitely not going to be using rainbows for Halloween or fall layouts. So I do use the photo placement and then kind of sort of go with the embellishment, like the way that she has it, dragging it across the layout. And it's going to be my own design on the first page. And then the second page with the two photos is going to be more like her design, except for it will be landscape layout. So basically you have to flip that side to make it look more like my layout. Anyways, it was totally inspired by my, I was inspired to create these two layouts by that sketch, but it's not really going to look like the sketch in the end. And pretty much sketches are just jumping off points. Right now I'm showing you all of this ephemera that I pulled out, or the laser cuts that I pulled out for 49 and Market. And this is for Vintage Orchard, I believe, is the title of the collection. The rub-ons. The laser cuts are actually from last year, and those are actually 2 years ago. Those were 2021, I believe, is the year on the one paper that I had left. And it's, what is it? Vintage Leaves, I believe is what that one was called. And then that little like frame with leaves on it is Echo Park, and that was just in my stash with this collection from when I used it a couple of years ago. I'm going to use the word hello off of this thicker sheet. That's going to be the only word I take off of there. And then, like I said, these rub-ons are newer. You can get these rub-ons. They are available right now. And this is the Vintage Orchard collection. And there's a whole lot of words in this collection for the rub-ons. I really like when the rub-ons have more mixed media type stuff, or like pumpkins or leaves or something. There was a whole lot of words on this one. But I get a few used up, but for the most part, it'll probably have to wait till maybe next month in November. I can do a fall layout with some of the rub-on words, but I don't know. Anyways, I do have a few of the papers from that same collection. Actually, neither of the orange papers actually get cut into, except for one for a tiny frame, and then the other one, mainly I'm going to use this background paper here. That's already kind of done for you, and you could just put your photos on there like that and add a title and call it good, but that's not what I'm going to do. You probably know that if you watched any of my other videos. That's definitely not what I'm going to do. But this one here, the same thing. I'm going to use it as my background. I couldn't decide which way I was going to place the photo on it. I decided to place it like this here, kind of, sort of. It's going to go a little bit more over to the right. And I'm going to add in lots of laser cuts on this one. I also add laser cuts on the other one, along with ephemera pieces and the green and orange like cards that you see to the right hand side underneath the laser cuts. Those were from the ephemera pack, and I'm going to use those to map my photos. So here, I think in a minute, we're going to get started on the layout. And I already have the background cut down to 11 by 8.5. And I also believe I've inked up the edges around the sides, and I'm going to go ahead and map this photo. And I did gut the paper because, again, I want to use it on both layouts, so I need to stretch that paper. And since that's ephemera paper, I don't have very much of it, so gutting it helps. And since the other photos are smaller, they're going to fit in that gutted spot. So here, down at the bottom of the photo, which the glare is hiding just perfectly, you can see his feet. He was kind of like standing bent over or whatever, so his face would fit in the scarecrow sign that says Miller Farm. And I'm going to use this as the title page to that day that we went to Miller Farms. And this was another field trip. And I placed that little label underneath the pumpkin at the bottom where you could see his feet. So you could no longer see his feet. And it just kind of fit there just perfectly. And it says, "So very thankful," which, I'm always thankful for my kids. So that's okay to use. And then I'm going to cut all these rub-ons apart and not use a single one of them. I was going to use them, as I'm showing them right now, as borders around the layout. But in the end, I decided it was way too much and it was too busy. I could have used just a couple of them, I guess. But in the end, they kind of got pushed to the side and I kind of just decided not to use them at all. But it was an idea, and it definitely probably will get used that way again. Maybe next month when I'm doing fall photos, I can use them up that way as a frame. But they do not get used that way today. One, the photo is kind of large on this layout. This is why I usually print my photos now. Almost all of my photos are printed at 3x4. And that's just because it works a lot better for 8.5 by 11. If I did a 4x6 on each 8.5 by 11 layout, I would pretty much have single photo layouts because, as you can see, it takes up a lot of real estate on one layout. So that's the reason I print them smaller. But again, these were already printed and I want to use what I have printed already. So here I'm just rubbing in one of the rub-ons that's like mixed media. And this one says orchard on it, or harvest, sorry. And it says definition of harvest. So, and you can't really read it. It's kind of distressed and stuff like that, but you can read harvest up there at the top. So I definitely just kept where you could read harvest, and then I'm going to add the other part down at the bottom. So again, cutting the rub-ons in half to use them in two places. These little acorns, I was going to try to get on the layout, but they just weren't in the right direction. I could have cut them apart again and used just one or two, but I just decided not to use them and just go with the mixed media rub-ons that I had, which I had them in yellow, like the reddish orange color, and green. So that's what I did. And that was just to add a little bit of color to the background. There's not much color in the background besides the laser cuts that I'm going to lay on top. But the background is just brown, white, and cream. And I'm just going to tuck the laser cuts in. The laser cut on the left-hand side with the two flowers, I am going to cut before I attach it down. And I'm going to put the other flower on the opposite side so that I'll have a flower or that orange color on all three sides. Because I'm going to add orange up here at the top with this little label. And then there's a green label that I'm going to put on top of it that says "Love This." And again, since he's my son, I just decided that title was cute up there, and it's green and it adds a little bit more color up there at the top. I also added one of those funny leaves. I found one more that I didn't put on the other layout the other day. And I guess it's a leaf. I don't know what it is, honestly. It kind of looks like a heart smashed, but I'm going with its leaf. I'm going to put it up there at the top. That little bow is going to stay right there to the left-hand side. I'm going to add one more rub-on, actually two. This little strip that looks like tape, I'm going to put it down first on the photo, and that was because the other rub-on that I add, it says "This matters most," and you really couldn't read it if I didn't add the other rub-on and then add this one. It kind of blended into the background of the photo, but I do like it down at the bottom, and it turns out okay once I add the other one and then I add that one on top of it. So I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. Nothing, it looks like. Thinking, should have cut this part out. I think I'm going to get ready to glue everything down, and I will cut away and come back. Yep, everything is glued down now, and I'm going to get ready to add sequins. And the sequins I'm adding are fall cider. These are brand new from Spiegelmom Scraps. and she has these in the shop right now. You can use my code Jennifer15 and save 15% at any time in Spiegelmom Scraps shop. I'm just going to place them around the layout at first, and then I will decide to do them as butterfly trails instead. So at first I was going to pick 3 spots, but now you can see they're butterfly trails instead. And to finish off the layout, so here at the end, I'm just adding a little doodle border around the edge, and basically I just drag my pen across the paper from one side to the other, zigzag, not zigzag, but it's not straight. So it kind of looks like a stitched line or something like that. And then I do put like little marker lines, you can see, where I kind of scribble marks, and that just makes it look, messy instead of perfect. I definitely wasn't going for perfect. So here I'm going to get started on the other layout, and this one here for the photo mats, I decided to do kind of like a white fence behind the photos. The way I did that was just cut strips of paper from the other layout. I had like a 3-inch strip or so of paper left over. So I just cut it down and then used my decal edge scissors to cut the ends of it. So it looks like a fence behind the photos instead of just a plain white mat. And it's just something a little bit extra on the layout. There was no rhyme or reason for it. So here I'm just going to add pattern papers over here on the left-hand side. And these are a mix of just scraps that I had in my stash from 49 and Market. And then I'm going to lay these laser cuts on top of those scraps. And these are the ones that look like ribbons, or I guess that's what they're supposed to be, is ribbons, because there is bows that match each one of these. But obviously I'm not going to use the bows for that. I already used one of the bows on the other layout, just wrapped it around or put it down and it looks like it's on the flower. I will use one of the bows on this layout also, but not where these ribbons are. So I'm just cutting them to the same size as the strip of paper, or where they're not going to show from being behind the photo. And the orange one kind of gets placed down in the wrong place, and you can kind of tell that it's not touching the photo. But I do fix that eventually. I believe I put one of the embellishments or something over it. Yeah, the little frame crosses over here in a minute, and you're not going to be able to see it right there. I snipped both of the frames in half, and I'm going to use half on the top and half on the bottom. And it was just to add a little bit more design to the layout. I didn't really want to cover all of the mixed media that was already on the paper. I just wanted to enhance it. So this was my way of doing that, was by adding more on top. And by leaving them open, not, backing them with pattern paper or anything like that, it just adds to the design in the background. And again, I'm just using up a lot of the 49 and Market pieces that I have in my stash. And this is one of the only layouts from that day at the pumpkin patch where he's wearing the purple shirt that I did not incorporate purple at all on this layout. And it's okay, because you can barely even see his shirt in this layout. More, you can see the blue barrels that he's sitting in the little ride. So I wanted to enhance more of the blue in the orange versus the purple shirt. But it's okay. I think it'll still look really good with the other layouts, because they're all going to be 49 and Market. I think almost every single one of the layouts from this day is 49 and Market. I am done with this day. Once this photo here is done, I am done with that day that he's wearing the purple shirt. So there I just put a little twine, or not really twine, it's burlap string is what it really is, right there in the middle of hello, because the little tab that says fall, I added underneath hello. So it says hello fall. And then the little leaves, I just added at the end of hello, and I stacked them up. There's 3 there. These little green ones I just had left, and decided just to add them up there at the top. There is a little label that I placed underneath the photo at the top of the orange that says Fabulous Fall Adventure. And again, that's just a play on what he's doing. He's just riding around the little train around the yard. And I'm going to add some sequins in, and these are new sequins also. These are Sweet Joy. And again, you can use my code Jennifer15 for any sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps, and also double-sided tape or Big Mama foam tape. So here I'm just placing those down, and I will also bring in the older ones that I have, which are caramel corn, I believe is what that one is called. Yeah, caramel corn is what that one's called, and it's orange, a mix of orange and blue. And that was because I wanted to add orange, of course. The blue mix Sweet Joy did not have orange in it, but I wanted to add orange. So I went ahead and added orange. I thought I was done. As you saw, I held it up so you can see it. I did lose a sequin because it wasn't glued down. Now I'm going to hold it up and let you guys see it up close. But right there in the middle at the top, it's missing something. And I couldn't decide what it was missing, but now I know. I went digging through the ephemera pack and I found these 3 circles. I'm not going to use all 3 circles as circles. I'm going to add them more for color. So up at the top, I'm going to add the orange one and the brown one in the back. One says thankful, one says fabulous. And that's just more repeating words of all the other embellishments. So I thought it was okay to just use the colors behind the one that says best time ever. And ever, I'm actually going to tuck underneath the photo because I don't know that this was the best time ever. I think best time ever and hello and thankful and fabulous and all those words are very overused with scrapbooking. But you know, we got to keep behind the packs so we have embellishments to use. But if you can tuck it in and, you know, cover up the word, that's what I do to make it more unique and not the same words over and over. But here's a few close-ups. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's layouts, and I will see you again tomorrow with another 2 layouts and another sketch. Bye!